She gave Edward a stern look and threw one more anxious glance at the machinery before leaving. His cool hands were on my face. I stared at him with wild eyes. Shh, Bella, calm down. Don't leave me, I begged in a broken voice. I won't, he promised. And now relax before I call the nurse back to sedate you. But my heart couldn't slow. Bella, he stroked my face anxiously. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be right here as long as you need me. Do you swear you won't leave me? I whispered. I tried to control my gasping at least. My ribs were throbbing. He put his hands on either side of my face and brought his face closer to mine. His eyes were wide and serious. I swear. The smell of his breath was soothing. It seemed to ease the ache of my breathing. He continued to hold my gaze while my body slowly relaxed, and the beating returned to a normal pace. His eyes were dark, closer to black than gold today. Better? He asked. Yes, I said cautiously. He shook his head and muttered something unintelligible. I thought I picked out the word overreaction. Why did you say that? I whispered, trying to keep my voice from shaking. Are you tired of having to save me all the time? Do you want me to go away? No, I don't want to be without you, Bella. Of course not. Be rational. And I have no problem with saving you either. If it weren't for the fact that I was the one putting you in danger, then I'm the reason you're here. Yes, you are the reason, I frowned. The reason I'm here, alive. Barely. His voice was just a whisper, covered in gauze and plastic and hardly able to move. I wasn't referring to my most recent near-death experience, I said, growing irritated. I was thinking of the others. You can take your pick. If it weren't for you, I'll be rotting away in the Fork Cemetery. He winced at my words, but the hunter look didn't leave his eyes. That's not the worst part, though, he continued to whisper. He acted as if I hadn't spoken, not seeing you there on the floor, crumpled and broken. His voice was choked, not thinking that I was too late, not even hearing you scream in pain. All those unbearable memories that'll carry me for the rest of eternity. No, the very worst was feeling, knowing that I couldn't stop, believing that I was going to kill you myself. But you didn't. I could have, so easily. I knew I needed to stay calm, but he was trying to talk himself into leaving me, and the panic fluttered in my lungs trying to get out. Promise me, I whispered. What? You know what? I was starting to get angry now. He is so stubbornly determined to dwell on the negative. Hear the change in my tone. His eyes tightened. I don't seem to be strong enough to stay away from you, so I suppose that you'll get your way, whether it kills you or not, he added roughly. Good. He hadn't promised, though, a fact that I had not missed. The panic was only barely contained, and no shit less to control the anger. You told me how you stopped. Now I want to know why, I demanded. Why? He repeated wearily. Why you did it? Why didn't you just let the venom spread? By now I'll be just like you. Edward's eyes seemed to turn flat black, and I remember that this was something that he never intended for me to know. Alice must have been preoccupied with things she learned about herself, or she'd been very careful with her thoughts around him. Clearly he had no idea that she had filled me in on the mechanics of vampire conversions. He was surprised and infuriated. His nostrils flared. His mouth looked as if it was chiseled from stone. He wasn't going to answer. That much was clear. I'll be the first to admit that I have no experience with relationships, I said, but it just seems logical. A man and a woman have to be somewhat equal. As in, One of them can't always be swooping in and saving the other one. They have to save each other equally. He folded his arms on the side of my bed and rested his chin on his arms. His expression was smooth. The anger reigned in. Evidently, he decided that he wasn't angry with me. I hope that I get a chance to warn Alice before he caught up with her. You have saved me, he said quietly. I can't always be Lois Lane, I insisted. I want to be Superman too. You don't know what you're asking. His voice was soft. He stared intently at the edge of our pillowcase. I think I do. Bella, you don't know. I've had almost 90 years to think about this, and I'm still not sure. Do you wish Giancarlo hadn't saved you? No, I don't wish that. He paused before continuing. When my life was over, I wasn't giving anything up. You are my life. You're the only thing it would hurt me to lose. I was getting better at this. It was easy to admit how much I needed him. He was very calm, though, decided. I can't do it, Bella. I won't do that to you. Why not? My throat rasped, and the words weren't as loud as I meant for them to be. Don't tell me it's too hard. After today, or I guess it was a few days ago. Anyway, after that, it should be nothing. He glared at me. And the pain? He asked. I blanched. I couldn't help it. But I tried to keep my expression from showing how clearly I remembered the feeling, the fire in my veins. That's my problem, I said. I can handle it. It's possible to take bravery to the point where it becomes insanity. It's not an issue. 3 days, big deal. Edward grimaced again as my words reminded him that I was more informed than he ever intended me to be. I watched him repress the anger, watched as his eyes grew speculative. Charlie? He asked curtly. Renee? Minutes passed in silence as I struggled to answer his questions. I opened my mouth, but no sound came out. I closed it again. He waited, and his expression became triumphant because he knew I had no true answer. Look, that's not an issue either, I finally muttered. My voice was as unconvincing as it always was when I lied. Renee has always made the choices that work for her. She wants me to do the same. And Charlie's resilient. He's used to being on his own. I can't take care of them forever. I have my own life to live. Exactly, he snapped. And I won't end it for you. If you're waiting for me to be on my deathbed, I have news for you. I was just there. You're going to recover, he reminded me. I took a deep breath to calm myself, ignoring the spasm of pain it triggered. I stared at him, and he stared back. There was no compromise in his face. No, I said slowly. I'm not. His forehead creased. Of course you are. You may have a scar or two. You're wrong, I insisted. I am going to die. Really, Bella? He was anxious now. You'll be out of here in a few days. 2 weeks at most. I glared at him. I may not die now, but I'm going to die sometime. Every minute of the day I get closer. And I'm going to get old. He frowned as what I was saying sunk in, pressing his long fingers to his temples and closing his eyes. That's how it's supposed to happen, how it should happen, how it would have happened if I didn't exist, and I shouldn't exist. I snorted. He opened his eyes in surprise. That's stupid. That's like going to someone who's just won a lottery, taking their money and saying, look, let's just go back to how things should be. It's better that way. And I'm not buying it. I'm hardly a lottery prize, he growled. That's right. You're much better. He rolled his eyes and set his lips. Bella, we're not having this discussion anymore. I refuse to damn you to an eternity of night, and that's the end of it. If you think that's the end, then you don't know me very well, I warned him. You're not the only vampire I know. His eyes went black again. Alice wouldn't dare. And for a moment, he looked so frightening that I couldn't help but believe it. I couldn't imagine someone brave enough to cross him. Alice already saw it, didn't she, I guessed. That's why the things she says upset you. She knows I'm going to be like you someday. She's wrong. She always said you did in the bed, but that didn't happen either. You'll never catch me betting against Alice. We studied each other for a very long time. It was quiet except for the whirring of the machines, the beeping, the dripping, the ticking of the big clock on the wall. Finally, his expression softened. So where does that leave us? I wondered. He chuckled humorlessly. I believe it's called an impasse.